Hello, this is Sam from Autobaus, and today I'm reviewing the 2011 Lexus CT 200h, and in this review I'll tell you why I bought this car, why I'm selling it, any issues I've had, and if it's any fun to drive. So without further ado, let's go! So what we have for you today is a beautiful pearly white Lexus CT 200h. I think this color suits this car really well, and if you were to compare, let's say, a similar car with that is painted in black, gray, or any other color, maybe the exception of blue, I think that the white makes this car look fairly fresh. And yeah, even by today's standards, and this car is already like 11 years old, I think that it looks fairly smart. So here we have the traditional Lexus full LED lights, and of course the xenon lights. There are no full LED lights for the CT 200h or nothing like that, just traditional xenon lights. We have the fog lights, a fairly small grille that Lexus enlarged with the facelift 4 years later and managed to make it even bigger with the refresh model in 2018. There are some chrome elements there and here. This is a regular CT 200h, so this is no F Sport, so just a traditional, fairly smart looking car. And on the side we have 18-inch traditional Lexus wheels. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is the exception for this car or not, but I've used to see, even at the dealership, a lot of rims, even if it was like LS, NX, it doesn't really matter, like any car. The paint would just chip away, not just on the sides, just everywhere. So this is no like German quality, at least as far as the rims go, are not so great compared to the German. So yeah, these rims are holding well for some reason. Yeah, if you are buying the Lexus, especially the older years, I would definitely check the rims, because this is just an ongoing issue that I've noticed with many of the Lexus cars. So this Lexus is just 11 years old, and I know that a lot of people say that these will last forever, but with the CT 200h, I've actually started noticing a lot of small rust spots. I'm not sure if we can see right now. Okay, so just tiny rust spots. And yeah, this car was maintained at the dealership, so. And I know a few other owners of the CT 200h that have also seen the issue. So again, I'm not sure what's wrong with Lexus as far as the paint go, or a painting scheme go, but yeah, the rims are bad, or they tend to go bad, and yeah, the rusty spots are also appearing all over the place. So moving to the side, or moving to the back, we have the signature Lexus L-shaped taillights. And the facelift and the refresh, especially, they have managed to make them even more beautiful with their full LED design. And I think that, again, given its age, it's still a fairly good looking car. Yeah, just traditional clean Lexus hatchback design. So let's just jump to the driver's seat of the Lexus CT 200h, and I'll tell you about its reliability and any other issues I've had. So let's jump to the front of the Lexus CT 200h and let's just check its interior quality. So starting with the interior, I'd say that despite this being the cheapest Lexus, there are very few rattles or squeaks. Not as bad as Mercedes, but not as good as, I'd say, like BMW or Audi. But yeah, there are just a few weak spots, but let's just... So this is the only weak part, I think. Yeah, and yeah, of course it's just hard plastic, but overall it's fairly good actually. And yeah, as far as the interior goes, we have probably one of the best configurations given what the Lexus offers. So we have the white leather on the sides. We have these not white, cream seats, cream leather seats. Of course, they are fully heated and everything. And even this tiny part, that which was surprising for me, is covered in leather. So even the Germans don't do that, and this is all leather, and this was an accident. So, and yeah, as far as the functions go or anything else, probably the worst part about this car is the infotainment system, and I don't even want to talk about it because to put it simply, it really sucks. This whole mouse feel thing is really unintuitive and impossible to use. And what I found actually is that with other cars I would sometimes adjust the settings or just change anything, but with this Lexus I just don't touch this whole thing at all. And of course there is no Apple CarPlay or anything, so you're left with just using the buttons for any functions. And the only redeeming quality is that you can connect the USB cable and feed your Spotify audio feed or anything like that. And yeah, it actually works, which surprised me. It recognized iPhone as the USB device and it played audio fine. And actually, as far as the audio goes, the speaker quality was another of the things that impressed me as far as the first impressions went. I remember sitting in this car for the first time, and the speaker quality was really excellent. And of course you can hear that on the recording, but yeah, you'll have to trust me on that one. So anything else, we have the old school dashboard, nothing fancy about that. I think we'll just take it for a drive, and I'll tell you about its reliability issues or any other issues I've had and whether or not you should buy one. So let's just take it for a drive and see it from there. So the drivetrain of Lexus CT 200H, combined with the hybrid system, it produces a total of 100 kilowatts of power, which will move this car from 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 in around claim time 10.1 seconds. And I did a run on my own, and you can see results how did that go on a separate video, but let's just drive through this rocky terrain. So driving Lexus CT 200H, the very first thing that I'll say is that this is just a city car. You should have no other expectations other than that it's a city car. And is it any fun? Let's just switch to the sports mode, which will change some dials on the left. Okay, now we are in sports mode. So is this car any fun to drive? So on a twisty roads, sure, but this is actually just a car to, I don't know, save fuel and just to drive from city to city or around the city and nothing else. But given its small size and smaller weight, I'd say that it handles very well. But as far as the steering goes, you have this traditional Lexus numb or dead steering wheel, like, I don't know, nothing is happening, you can't feel a thing. Even in the sports mode, like, it doesn't get any heavier or anything like that. The throttle response is a little bit more, I don't know, lively, but nothing to brag about. But on these twisty roads you will have some fun, I guess. Again, it's just a small hatchback, but this is why this isn't a reason to buy this car, because like every other small car will just, I don't know, handle in a way that is way more fun and way more enjoyable. And again, Lexus is for reliability, and yeah, that's the main selling point. So you're buying this car to save fuel, and you will actually do so only if you're driving in the city. Like, the fuel consumption was actually on a higher side. I know it says that the average is 5.2 or 5.4, and that's true in the city. But as far as the highway driving goes, I think it reaches around 8 liters to 100 kilometers or so. It's really bad, and again, if you're doing a lot of highway miles, I would never buy this car, especially to save money, at least. Unlike Germans, the Lexus CT was designed for the city driving, and you can actually feel once you reach the speeds like past 130, 140 kilometers an hour. Like, the noise does become, I wouldn't say unbearable, but it's fairly rough, nothing compared to like German cars, even its competitors, you know, or competition. I'm not talking about like E-Class or I don't know, BMW 5 Series or anything like that. Just even hatchbacks. Also, the engine noise, you can hear it right now, but I'll just give you an example. So let's do a launch. Okay, we're moving. So this is actually the sound that you'll be hearing all the time, assuming you are driving on a highway. Like, the engine constantly revs, and the CVT gearbox, it tends to keep the revs on the higher side, so you always hear this annoying noise unless you let go of an accelerator for like, I don't know, 1 second or so. Then it will switch to lower revs. You'll cruise in a quieter fashion, but the combination, again, CVT plus the hybrid system, it's not really suitable on anything but the city driving. And as far as the city driving, it does this really well, I think. And given the reliability of the Lexus, this is probably where it excels and beats every other manufacturer out there. And it will use the hybrid mode when you're like running or you're approaching the traffic lights. It will sit quietly if you are just idling, you know. Like, it has the EV only mode, but that will only activate if you're going below like 40 kilometers an hour. So it's not suitable for like EV only driving. Again, it's a hybrid, not a full EV. Yeah, the this fuel consumption and these fuel prices, it becomes one of the biggest reasons to have this car. And again, the cabin noise, even if you're going like 90 kilometers an hour, it's on a higher side, you know. Of course, we have the winter tires, but the same situation applies to driving with summer tires or so. Now, the benefits of this car and how has it been, like, how's reliability, how's everything. So in around 3 years time, like, there are just a few tiny things that have to be fixed. And again, we have approached 200,000 kilometers, which is like 120,000 miles, a lot, especially given it's like tiny 1 liter petrol engine, you know. It's not a diesel that goes like for hundreds and thousands of miles. So the issues that I've had with this car have actually been very limited. First, I would say that this screen, even if it opens and closes all the time, you know, while you're driving the car, like, it never broke down on me, like, even after this high mileage. And that's like the opposite compared to my Audi or the other Audi 7 that I've driven. Like, views you will just have replaced at some point, you know, but and if not, we'll just be jittering and I don't know, feeling like we are about to break down. And that's not the case with the Lexus CT 200h. And again, buttery smooth, like, after all this time. And again, this is the Lexus reliability, and everything else has been fairly reliable. So the ongoing issues about the Lexus, first, the side mirrors, and this issue didn't happen like for the first 190,000 kilometers or so. And now, if you're switching between like different memory configurations for the side mirrors, the mirror will just, I don't know, stutter or jitter for some reason for like a few seconds. So I think it will break down at some point. It's probably not that expensive to fix, but again, I've had this issue with every car that I've tested at some point. Unlike Germans, this is actually just this, the whole glass mechanism, not the folding part. So the only other issue that I've had is actually related to the exhaust. Since this car is like 11 years old or so, the exhaust is connected, or probably is connected to some like aluminum slash cardboard type of I don't know, cover or something, and if you were to turn like really sharply, the exhaust would just, I don't know, disconnect or something would happen, and you would have to go to the dealership and we would fix it for like 10 or 30 euros. So not a highly or super annoying thing, or not is expensive to fix, but I'm not sure why they wouldn't replace just the whole I don't know, cardboard or aluminum cover. But yeah, they fixed that twice in the last 3 years. Now it hasn't happened again, but again, just a small issue, and that's actually pretty much it. This car has been bulletproof, and yeah, it's given its age and mileage, I'm still surprised. Like even the battery, we did a test at a dealership like 3 months ago, and it's still showing like no issues or whatsoever. Like after 11 years, still awesome. And Lexus actually gives you 10-year warranty on battery, any of your hybrid system, so that's awesome. Now another thing that to note, if you're buying the Lexus CT, minus the rust issues, that I've heard that it will go from like tiny rust spots to like extreme rust in just a few years once it starts showing I don't know, these symptoms. So I wouldn't buy a very old CT, especially if you see like large rustic spots already. And another thing that will be expensive to fix, and that the dealership has warned us at some point, is that this whole door mechanism, or the hinge, for some reason it doesn't hold the door really well, and you will have to replace some of these parts. And I believe the cost that we have quoted, and with the repainting and everything, is around 600 or 700 euros. And I think it's the issue with all Lexus CT200H cars. I'm not sure if this applies to facelift as well, but yeah, the hinges, something is wrong with them, and it's like the undergoing issue with the CT. So if you were to buy one, I definitely ask the dealership to check the health of the door hinges, and just to be sure, because this is probably the only expensive thing that you'll have to fix, minus the battery if it goes bad at some point. And yeah, everything else still good, still working, no issues. Just a cool city car that I would recommend for, I don't know, people that just going from point A to point B, and where both points are in the city. Get this car for your mom, your girlfriend, someone who doesn't actually care that much about like driving dynamics or anything like that, you know, but just wants a reliable working horse with some luxury items, I guess. So why, if the car is holding so well, why the hell I'm selling it? The only reason is high mileage and 200,000 kilometers. It's time for it to say goodbye, especially since the 10-year hybrid system warranty has run out, and I don't feel like risking. So yeah, even if it's not breaking down, that's the only reason why I'm selling it. Would I buy a facelift? Absolutely, but why would I if it's all the same? Like there are so many other cool cars out there. So yeah, but would I buy this Lexus again, given that I haven't experienced it yet? So absolutely. Again, one of the cooler and most reliable cars that I've driven so far, and probably with Germans you get the joy of driving a car while driving, and the Lexus you get the joy of driving a car without having to repair it. So that's the conclusion of this Lexus CT. If you want to see more long-term reviews of the cars that I drive or have driven, be sure to subscribe to Autobau's channel, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.